Hey everybody, Ben Allen here with Miller's Riverboat Service in Wasilla, Alaska. And the purpose of this video is, I'm just sharing my ideology and mindset when it comes to, fishing and guiding here in the Matanuska Valley. I'm super passionate about fishing here and just love the landscape and the fish and all that good stuff. And you can see me here. There's some very raw footage, and you can see me here fighting, some king salmon on Willow Creek back in kind of the early years when there was more robust fishing, and you could target these fish and that kind of thing. So, yeah, enjoy. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Maybe there's something here that I say that helps you out. Comment, and we'll catch up with you later. Thanks. I've always thought the chase is better than the capture. The capture is sweet, but man, I love the chase. And I love everything about sport fishing in the Matanuska Valley. The glaciated Susitna River has so many world-class clear flowing tributaries. I spent a lot of time that's an understatement. I spent a lot of time fishing the Deshka River, Willow Creek, and at times the Talkeetna River. I fished the little Susitna River, the lower little Susitna River flowing into Kinnick Arm. It has world-class coho and chum salmon fishing. Probably as good there as anywhere else in the state. And I can say that I fished other places in the state. Not only do these places provide great fishing, but the scenery is awesome. Getting to be in these special places on the river and embracing the process of what it takes to have the best opportunity to catch salmon and trout is what is most important to me. For me, well, I have several years and thousands of hours of experience and put a lot of fish in the boat. But I don't define a successful trip or measure my happiness or my joy by how many fish we catch. Rather the overall experience. And what's disappointing to me, and one thing I've observed in a growing trend is, so many Alaskans and visitors, define a successful trip by how many salmon they killed or, how many pictures they got of trophy rainbows to put on the Instagram. Fishing to me never gets old. And I love the variation in the Matsu Valley. The different conditions from year to year, day to day, the different species, the different techniques. One year, I could barely get my boat upstream on the Deshka River. Well, that's a lot of years, but this year in particular, and we can drive our boats pretty much over a wet rock, but this year was bone dry, or this year I'm talking about, and the fishing was tough, but we figured it out, and we were catching these extremely fickle silver salmon fly fishing with tiny pink nymphs. Okay. Super fun experience. We caught fish and it was kind of the challenge of figuring it out and persevering, and it made it rewarding. The following year, totally polar difference. The Deshka River was like the Kenai River. It was raging. You could barely get your boat to anchor up in a lot of spots on the side of the river. A lot of guides had called it quits. It was totally different condition. You know what? We were absolutely pounding silvers on sardine wrap K13, 14, and 15 quickfish. Awesome experience. There's so many stories like this. There's just not enough time. But anyways, and then there's just driving your boat on the river. I think I could spend the whole summer just driving my jet boat on the Susitna River. Seriously, in spots it's 3 miles wide. Several spots it's 3 miles wide. There's hundreds of braids. Just such a cool place, just really dynamic. And on a clear day, the views of Denali are just breathtaking. Just imagine driving your jet boat, on these narrow, channels. It's like driving your boat through an old growth spruce and cottonwood forest. Totally unique experience. I want to be on the river all day and have a good time. I want my customers to have a good time, by enjoying fishing. I enjoy being on the river so much, not only because of the clean air, the wildlife, the awesome boat ride, wading in the water, netting fish, fishing with my custom rods, but because of all the hard work I've done has been completed. And well, I enjoy all the hard work because I love fishing. For every guide trip, there is at least 3 hours of prep I complete the night before. I'm not talking, you know, we can't measure all this time, in the off season, but I spend the night before 3 hours of prep time in order to give the customer the best opportunity. Pre-tied leaders, planning, strategizing, scouting, boat maintenance, rigging rods. I sometimes bring 20 pre-rigged rods on my powerboat trips. I want to be ready for every situation. These are all things I love. To be honest, I can't wrap my head around seasoned anglers and guides in this area being sourly disappointed because they didn't get to kill any salmon or rack up, a lot of numbers on trophy trout. And what's even more demented in my brain is the number of guides here and everywhere who define a successful trip by how many fish they get or how fast they limit the trip and get the customers out of their boat and back to the hotel room. And today, well, with social media and the internet and online forums, everybody's looking for a shortcut. I mean, everyone seems to want directions to a sweet spot, a pin sent from an iPhone, and they'll make sure they're there before everybody else the following morning. Astonishing the number of people trolling social media pages looking for a sweet spot. Now, if you blatantly plagiarize someone else's work versus learning and experiencing the river for yourself, you're missing the whole point of sport fishing in my eyes. If you're depending on someone else's sweat and time, just understand that you're avoiding the process of what it takes to be the best fisherman with the best opportunity to be successful on a consistent basis. And the process of fishing the river is what I love and cherish. To be blunt, I really don't care what the other guides are doing. That's an intangible factor that, well, is not going to affect how much fun I'm going to have on a trip. So many people get negatively affected when they find out someone else caught more fish than them. Are we kids in the sandbox? You get one chance to live. Enjoy every fishing trip and never take it for granted. And especially if you're a fishing guide, it's even more important because the people that you're taking fishing, it could be their last trip. And there's several people that I know it was their last trip. And I'm proud to reflect and say we had a great time. You get one chance at this life, and just enjoy fishing. It's for recreation. The best fishermen are very instinctive and know how and when to adjust to conditions and changes in fish behavior. The best time to learn is when you make a mistake or have a poor day in terms of, numbers of fish to the boat. And, I want to go out and fish hard. I'm going to cover the water. I'm going to explore. I want to bring a variety of techniques, baits, flies, and be creative. I want to bring everything I've got. And I'm going to take what the river gives me. And I'm going to enjoy it. I definitely enjoy learning from others, and I'm very observant. There's nothing wrong with asking for info, but there's no substitute for on-the-water experience and time. And it's the journey and process I've been out in love. We live in a society now that has an attention span of about 90 seconds. And well, everyone now seems to want an instant response, instant results. And well, that's not how sport fishing works. And well, if you have to have fish in the cooler in order to have a smile on your face, call me. And I'll show you how to have a good time on the water, regardless of how many fish are biting. And you know what? You'll definitely find out that Ben Allen knows a thing or two about catching salmon and trout in the Deshka Valley.